For 12 long years, the community has wondered, what happened to Delbert Wilder? He was a loving father and a decorated Army veteran, but after tragically losing his wife, he began to lose himself and struggle. And during that struggle, someone took Delbert's life. Detectives at the Nevada County Sheriff's Office have never given up in finding Delbert's murderer, and today they're asking community members for help in bringing the family justice. This is Delbert's story.
Delbert was my father. He had a bit of a troubled past from his early childhood through Vietnam, but I think he was a fantastic father. Despite being a disabled vet, he was very handy, built everything from scratch and did a pretty good, thorough job of it. He had 2 Purple Hearts. He was hard of hearing. He's missing several fingers on one hand. PTSD, worried about being in crowds, not liking loud noises despite him being hard of hearing. But he always provided for our family, took care of my mom and my siblings and myself. He worked so hard to attend every track meet, anything I was doing at school, horse shows, and, being there during the fair when I was in 4-H. He was trying really hard to be there for his family. We talked not on a regular basis, but every couple weeks or so, and I know he was struggling with my mom's passing, and I know that he went down a dark road, but I didn't think that anything like this would have happened.
On the date of this incident, I was assigned to patrol. The call came out shortly after our briefing. This was the first call for service that I was dispatched to. Deputy Brandon Corchero was also responding in a separate vehicle. I believe dispatch at the time advised that there was a male subject that was requesting a welfare check on his father, who he believed was at the residence and was unresponsive. When Deputy Corchero and I first arrived on scene, we noticed 2 buildings on the property, the main residence, which was on the left of the driveway as you pulled up, and a large detached garage, 2-story garage. We made contact with the reporting party. He told us that he was at that location to advise his father about a funeral that was the next morning. The reporting party told us that he went up the stairs on the detached garage on the outside, noticed the door was slightly ajar, and he could see what he described as possible blood on the walls.
When the deputies first arrived, they would have had to ascend the exterior staircase to this building to get up to the 2nd level, which was ultimately found to be the crime scene.
So Deputy Corchero and I went up the same set of stairs up to the entrance on the 2nd floor of the garage. Once we got up to the top landing, I noticed the door was slightly ajar, approximately 6 to 8 inches. I noticed what I believe to be 2 small holes, which appeared to be exit holes from a gun. I was able to peek inside a little bit and saw the left arm of a subject on the floor. Mr. Wilder was so close to the door that we were unable to gain entry into that point. So Deputy Corchero and I went downstairs to the bottom of the garage, forced entry through a side door, and eventually located a ladder and went in through a secondary entrance from within the bottom story of the garage that led to where Mr. Wilder was located.
So when the deputies finally made it into this room, they were able to see, obviously, the deceased body of Delbert Wilder lying on the floor next to the door here. The door would have originally opened from this side, and he was found in this area here. lying face up. He was found in a pool of blood. There was blood spatter on the walls. Based on the furniture and the lamps in the area, he was even on top of one of the lamps, it became very clear that Delbert was fighting for his life and sadly lost.
I don't understand why anybody would do this. From my knowledge, he just sort of kept to himself at home. He was a good man. He took really good care of my mom and of our family. This is the flag that was given to me at the end of his funeral.
Mr. Wilder was a father. He was a brother. He had a family, and that family deserves the closure and the answers to why this happened. And the person responsible needs to be brought to justice.
I never knew Delbert personally, but having been in similar circumstances, such as the military time of war, I do feel a bond to him in that regard. A lot of times I look at these situations as what I would want were this my family member or my loved one. I would want to know that law enforcement is doing everything that they can within their power. A lot of what I've done on this case is spending countless hours of reading the typed and written reports, reviewing handwritten notes, and watching and listening to hours worth of interviews that have been conducted previously and trying to identify any potential discrepancies. There have been several recent developments as far as the DNA analysis has gone, especially given the new techniques that are being utilized forensically. It has given us new information to go on.
I've been waiting a long time for some sort of movement. I'm just desperate for closure for myself, my family, and justice for him, because he didn't deserve this.
With this being the anniversary of Mr. Wilder's death, I feel more for the family, looking for answers to their questions, looking for some kind of closure. Their dad was put to rest, but this case is not. And I know the family has a lot of unanswered questions, and they deserve answers.
If anybody does know something about what happened to Delbert, whether you think it's relevant or not, it could be the one thing that breaks the case wide open.
My family and I are so desperate for closure. If you know anything, if you could just please come forward. It's been 12 years, and it's been so difficult not knowing what happened, not knowing if this person is still out there, not knowing if I should be worried for my safety. Just desperate for any more information to help bring justice to Delbert.
Anyone with information about the death of Delbert Wilder is urged to come forward. Tips can be submitted anonymously. Please don't let another day, week, or year go by for Delbert Wilder and his family. Justice is needed today.